Welcome to the second part of our Authentication mini-series, and part 9 of our larger series on making an app in VueJS. In our previous video, we got our current user, and we created login and register pages that let you create a user and sign back in to your old user. However, we didn't actually lock anything down. You can still visit all the admin pages, and you can even delete videos, even if you're not signed in. And of course, it doesn't stop with deletion. They can also edit our current videos and create new ones. So our goal in this video is to make our pages protected, our admin pages. We don't want random people coming along and changing things. Throughout this video, we're going to be making our app more secure and harder to hack by using two different techniques: navigation guards and token authentication. Specifically, here's the steps we're going to go through. So first, we're going to put in the navigation guards, and we're going to learn about the before enter hook and the next function. Then we're going to create an admin section that holds all the routes that we want to guard, and we'll learn about nested routes to do that. And finally, we'll do token authentication. And token authentication can be tricky, but most of that trickiness is on the server side. So I'm going to break one of my rules and show you a little bit of server stuff, but hopefully in just a general way that you can apply to your own server. All right, so let's get started. So our goal in this first section is that if a user is not logged in, then when they try to go to this admin page, it'll redirect them back to the index page. Fortunately, there's something that Vue Router has that makes this very easy: navigation guards. So there are several different guards, and they differ based on when they run. And the one that we want this time is before enter. So you can set that on a route, and it'll take the route it's going to, the route it's going from, and the next function. Let's go to our route page and go ahead and put this in, and we'll put in a debugger to see what we have. All right, we have our DevTools open, so the debugger will catch. And all right, so we have our to route, and here it has the name of the route, the full path, and the matched routes, and a bunch of stuff that I'm sure is useful, but it's not really what we are looking for. We need to figure out if the user is signed in. So we also have from, which is a different route, but has the same keys, just with different values. And finally, we have next, which is a function that we're going to call. And whatever we feed as the argument is the route that it's going to go to. And if we feed it without an argument, then it'll be going to the route that it was already going to before we called this hook. So this is all very well and good, but so far we haven't seen anything that will detect whether our user is logged in or not. And if we call this, we'll see that it's undefined, so we don't have access to a lot of the things we normally would. Fortunately, the state of our user is stored in local storage, so we can just grab the current user from there, and we'll want to run json.parse on it first, and then we'll call the name. And currently it's going to be undefined, but when we log in, then it'll have a name. Let's encode that in our before enter hook. So we'll get the current user by parsing the window.localStorage current user. And then we'll have an if conditional. So if we have the current user, because if this is their first time loading the app, they've never signed in before, it might not even be the hash in there that is currently there if they're logged out. And then we'll check to see if there's a name on the current user. And if there is, we'll just continue on like we were before. Otherwise, we will go to a different route. And we'll just go to the index route. And so this can take many forms of argument. We'll just go with the simplest one for now, since that's all we need. All right, let's try this out now. We click the button and nothing happens. And just to show that something is actually happening, we'll go to the login route, click there, and it redirects to the home page. Now let's try it as a signed-in user. We'll go ahead and register a new user for this purpose. All right, so we've got our innocent username, and we're logging into admin, and we're in. And all we had to do was register. So that's actually not what we want for an admin page. So we're going to add the requirement that there's an admin property on the user and that it's true. So I went ahead and added it to the backend, and you can see in our API, it's null for most users, but for some users, it's true. So all we have to do to protect ourselves here, well, for this step of protecting ourselves, is to change from .name to .admin. So now it's checking whether the current user is an admin. And we'll see that we have already been redirected. We try to click admin and it does not take us there. And let's actually go ahead and remove that if we are not an admin. So this will have a vif of equal to current user.admin. Excellent, it's disappeared. Now we'll sign in as someone who is an admin, just to make sure that it still works for them. And we can see that our admin button is back, and we can visit that page. Great. So this is awesome progress. Random users are not going to wander into our admin pages and accidentally change something. Or I should say, they're not going to accidentally wander into that specific admin page. In the next section, we'll apply this to all of the admin pages. So we've protected this page. Now we want to protect this page, and this page, and this page. And in the future, we'll probably want to protect more. So there are a couple ways we could do this. The first way would be to copy this and paste it into every route that we want to protect. But that is not a great solution. And you've probably guessed by the title of this section, not the one we're going to do. What we're going to do is have this applied to one route and then nest the other routes below it. So we'll start with just having this parent route and only this one under it, and make sure that it still works correctly. Then we'll start adding the other routes. So here we'll go ahead and make a new path, and this path will be /admin. So all of our admin stuff is going under this. And we will create the admin component in a little bit. And now we will give it children. And the one child that it'll get is this admin videos list. And then we will copy and paste this before enter. We'll clean this up first. And then we'll take this before enter and put it in our admin. And then the path here, how we have it now, it would be /admin/admin/videos. We can take away the admin, actually be /admin//admin/videos. So child routes, you don't need a slash in front. And you also don't need the path of the parent because it's automatically added. Now let's create this admin component. And we'll just put an H1 to say we're an admin. And Well, we're an admin, but we're not actually seeing the videos, even though we're on the right path. And that's because in order to view child routes, you need a router view. So when we have that, now it shows, first we have here in admin.view, then it shows the child route. And if we went to just admin, then it would show just that. Now we can start putting everything else that we want protected in this children array. Go ahead and grab this admin users list, and we'll stick that in there. And then we'll grab the admin video edit. We'll stick that in there. And the video create page is not labeled admin, but it still goes in there. And for these, we can remove the admin from the front, but leave everything else the same. And for this video create, we might actually want to rename the component. And so we will have to rename it here, and rename it here, and rename it here. And notice what this does. In our views folder, this sticks it alphabetically right alongside all the other admin pages. And this is a naming pattern that is recommended in the Vue style guide, and it's for this sort of convenience. So we have the admin, and everything, the four under it are grouped with it. And then notice all the admin video stuff are grouped together as well, because video is the second word. And then we have the action that we're doing in that page. Anyways, enough philosophy. Let's make sure that our buttons do everything that they say they will. All right, so far looking good. So we can get to all our old pages. Well, that button is not good. So our add video button, that's in admin video list.view. Here we'll just add admin to the front. And now it works again. All right, so we have stacked everything under admin, and it was relatively painless. And a nice bonus of this is if we don't care about the admin stuff, we can close it up in our text editor, and we'll be able to see all the non-admin stuff much easier. So this is looking pretty good. Now, as a convenience thing, we might want to put something here besides just the word admin. I mean, yeah, it's only us that's going to be looking at it, but we still want a little bit of niceness. So let's go ahead and make a link that goes to our video list and a link that goes to our users list. We will do that nice and easy with vtabs. So we'll replace our admin with vtabs, and we'll have one of them that goes to our videos and one that goes to our users. We'll go ahead and give them those two routes. And like a lot of Vuetify components, they can act as a link. And then we'll check them out. All right, one more quick thing. vContainer, right here. All right, now they look real nice. Okay, cool. Everything is protected. Let's go ahead and log out just to check. And we'll reload. And now we'll try to get to admin/users. Can't do it. We'll try to get to admin/videos. Can't do it. We'll try to get to admin/videos.create. So I actually got the URL wrong, so it showed a blank page. Oh, it's new. All right, and then it redirects. So we're all protected, right? Well, maybe. Let's go to our sneaky little dev tools and put admin true. Interesting. Now we reload the page, and oh look, we can go to our admin page. We can edit things. Well, that's not good. We want to actually protect our data. That's why we're going to add token authentication. So our current protection scheme is like a digital no trespassing sign. It'll keep out the people who don't know any better, who are just like doo-doo-doo walking along, and they won't accidentally screw up your site. But people who are trying to get in, it's just a sign. It won't stop them. As you can see, we have hacked our way in with just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. With just a 12-character hack. And we're not logged in, but we still have access to everything. This is one of the reasons why any real security is going to have to involve the server as well, because that is our last line of defense. Someone can't go in and mess with the server code like they can with the client code. The problem is the server can't remember who you are in between requests. So you're sending a request to ask for data or to update data, and the server, if it's in production, is going to be getting a lot of those requests every second. And so it can't keep track of every single person. So we have to help it out. So what we're going to do is we are going to give each user a key, and they'll have that key, and they'll be able to say, hey, server, this is me. So you can go ahead and do this. You can verify that it's me. And we'll call that key a token or an authorization token. I temporarily modified the server so that we would get these tokens back in our /users call. And so as you can see, they are long, random hexadecimal things, and every user is going to have one. It will be generated when that user is created. Or if you've already created a lot of users without tokens, you can just generate them and save them to that user that you've already created. No worries there. So this is some of our backend code, and this is the temporary thing that I did to show you that. I remove it and all those tokens are gone. So now we're safe from someone grabbing them and impersonating us. But we will continue to push the tokens when we create a user and when we create a session. So let's go ahead and log in as an admin user, and so we can get that authorization process started. Now that we've signed in, we can see that in our local storage, our current user has the token. Now we need to be able to use that token. Let's go ahead and change our API service so that it includes that token in a header for every call we make to our API. So here we are in our API service, and we need to access our current user to get to the token. And we can't access a lot of the rest of the app, but we can access local storage. And we'll need to remember to call parse on this. All right, and then for our authorization header, we're going to just put in, if there's a current user, then we'll put in current user.token. Let's check this out in some API calls. So we'll go ahead and just reload this page and get our videos, and we'll see that here we have sent the authorization header with the key of the token. Some people like to put bearer and then a space before that, but we're just going to go ahead and put just the token. And now, if all you're worried about is the front end, if someone else is taking care of your back end for you, you're done. This is all there is to do on the front end to get an authorization token. This will automatically send out with every request, whether it's a get, a post, a delete, a put, a patch, whatever, all of them. But since the backend is so tricky, I don't want to leave you hanging. And so I'll try to go over it in a generic way so that you can understand a little bit of the process and implement it in your own backend. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to hijack our destroy action and just put a debugger in there. So this is in Ruby on Rails, and hopefully the code is self-explaining enough that you'll be able to apply it to your own backend system. And of course, the details will be different. So let's go ahead and trigger this, and we'll call delete. And I chose that one because it's really easy to trigger. All right, here we are. So we are going to get request.headers, and there are a lot. So let's just go for the one that we know we have. All right, awesome. That is our token. So that's how we get our token. And next, we'll want our current user. And in Rails, you can do this. If it helps you, I can put these parentheses around it. So that'll get us our user. And yeah, then you've got your user. And then you can check if they are an admin. And if they are not an admin, then you can give a 401 error. Or another nicer way to write this is head 401 unless is admin. All right, so these 4 lines are how we are going to verify that the user is signed in, that they're who they say they are, and that they're an admin. So let's go ahead and test this out. Let us uncomment that, and we are currently signed in as an admin, so it should let us delete stuff. All right, that's deleted. We reload. It is still deleted. Now let's try this with a fake admin user. But first, let's go ahead and create a throwaway one, just in case. All right, so we will log out, and then we'll go ahead and fake being an admin. All right, good so far. And we'll go to admin, videos, and we'll try to delete this. Oh, and oh no, there's a 500 error. And that's because we were expecting a 401, but the 500 is because, yeah, it couldn't find admin for nil class because we couldn't find a user with no token. Okay, so it definitely keeps out people with tokens that don't exist or no token at all. Now let's go ahead and try to sign in as someone who is, they have a token, but they're not an admin. All right, so let's try signing in as Spike. All right, cool. So it will, by default, not let us go to the admin page, but we can still go ahead and hack this. All right, now it should let us onto the admin page. And actually, we need to refresh so it gets into the store. Oh no, okay. For some reason, I had that as null instead of true. Okay, here we are. We have a real user, but a fake admin true. Let's see what happens when we hit delete. And we're going to get our 401, just like we expected. We are unauthorized to do that action. Now, I will admit this is kind of a bad UI to figure out what went wrong. In a user-facing app, we would want something that says like, oh, you're not authorized to view this page. But if they get to this point, clearly they're trying to do something bad, so we don't owe them a good UI. All right, now we want to apply this to our create and update actions as well. But since this is not a backend focused thing, I'll just go ahead and snap and get it done. All right, so now we have some Ruby on Rails magic, which calls the authenticate user method before running create, update, or destroy, the three we want to protect. And then this is basically the code we had before. It's just put into different methods to make it a little bit more clear. And now we can go and try to edit something. And we'll see that 401's as well, because now our edit function is protected. And that's how you protect your app using token authentication. We went a lot more into the backend than I like to do on these videos, but that's because for token authentication, most of the complexity is in the backend. We've got just a little bit on the front end that we need to deal with. But it's such an important topic that I didn't feel I could leave it out. All right, let's go over what we learned today. So first, we learned about the before enter hook. And in this hook, we have the route we're going to, the route we're coming from, and a function that will direct us to a route. If we call that function without any arguments, we'll go to the route we were already going to. If we call it with an argument, then it'll send us to that route instead. In this case, the home route. So what we're doing here is we're finding our current user from local storage, parsing it, and then if they're an admin, we're continuing on to the page we are going to. Otherwise, we'll redirect to our home route. Then, this one before enter can protect all 4 of these routes because they're children of that route. And so the actual path for this is admin/videos, but we leave that off because it's a child route of /admin. Now, to make this work, in our admin component, we have to include a router view. And so wherever we put the router view, that's where our child components, or our child routes, are going to be displayed. Then we briefly made a menu using vtabs. And finally, in our API, we got our current user and created an authorization header using the token. And so this is the last thing we did on our client side. On the server side, we did quite a bit of work checking that token and then rejecting certain calls if the token was not the token of an admin user. And there we are. We have our authentication system. And that was a lot. That was 90 minutes of talking about authentication in these last 2 videos. So in our next video, we're going to go do something a little bit lighter. We're going to put up little notifications. Some people call them toasts or snack bars whenever the user does something, and we want to tell them that, hey, good job, you did it, without doing an entire big alert box they have to close down. So once again, thanks for watching, and until the next video, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe down below. I'll see you next time.